Hey guys, Joseph here, welcome back to another video. Now this is another tier video, but this time I'm doing all the areas in Dark Souls tiered. From basically all of these areas, as you can see, these are the Dark Souls trilogy. So unfortunately there's not going to be Demon Souls, not going to be Bloodborne, not going to be, what's the other series? Sekiro, that's what it was. Now of course I've not played Sekiro, I've not played Bloodborne, I have played Demon Souls, and I have beaten Demon Souls, but I don't. Of course, this one doesn't have the areas on of Demon Souls. For reference, I would probably put Nexus would probably be S. S plus would probably be reserved for 3-1. Everything else floating around. What other? For 1-1, it would put 1-1 would probably be A. 1-2 would probably be around C. 1-3 as well, probably around C. 1-4 probably around B. 2-1, 2-2, 2-3, all of those will be probably E and F. Same with the Valley of the Farming areas. As for Tower of Luxury, would probably be the first 3-1 would probably be an S plus. A would be where 3-2 would be, and for Shrine of Storms will probably be around C and D. So let's talk about these areas. Now I've had to try and arrange them in order. Now, obviously, of course, some of these, like for instance, Darkwood Basin, Valley of Drakes, should probably put with that because I've just been trying to move these around. Some of these can, of course, be done in different orders, but I've tried to keep it in the order you would do them in. Great Hollow, actually, Great Hollow could probably put around here. Actually, say with Ash Lake. Yeah. And I'm putting the DLC areas as last in the final area. If it's like with Dark Souls 1, it'll be here because that's basically the final area of the game. Whereas Throne of Want here, I've put the Dark Chasm here because Dark Chasm really you can do it any time. And I put the Kiln here. I'm going to put Dark Chasm ahead of the King's Passage actually because the King's Passage is what you go to the throne. So let's go. We'll start with the classic North Undead Asylum. I'm going to put North Undead Asylum at C. Obviously, there's a good reason to revisit the Asylum because you get the Rusted Iron Ring, which is very, very good, especially in Blighttown, especially when fighting the Hydra in Darkroot Basin. So, and of course, you get the peculiar doll for the Painted World. So, quite a bit to like about the Asylum. Firelink's going to double in the S plus. Just incredible hub, and I don't think that people actually noticed, but what was the boss? It was in Dark Souls 3. It's one of the bosses in Dark Souls 3. I think it's the boss of the Dreg Heap. I can't remember which one it was. Demon Princes, that's what it was. The Demon Princes are actually fought in the ruins of Firelink, which I think is amazing. Like, literal, you see the well in the map and you can see all the different ruins of the buildings, and I think that's incredible. I love that. Yeah, brilliant area, and if you're being honest, I think there's a saying, the more dangerous the world, the more tempting the oasis, or something like that, something like that. But basically, Firelink Shrine is the oasis of Dark Souls, and it's incredible for it. Undead Berg. I'm going to put the Berg at B, floating towards A. Now, I really, really love the Berg. It's such a cool area. I'd say top 40 in the series. I'd say it's one of my top 40. But it is 40 areas here. Like, there's a lot of areas in the series. But yeah, the Berg, very good. B tier area, very, very, very good area. I love the Berg. It's one of my favourite areas of the game. It's really cool, really good for introduction. Taurus is a bit of a shit boss, but can't have everything. It's got the right amount of shortcuts. It's got some. I'm guessing this is counting the lower Berg as well, because yeah, it's going to count the lower Berg as well. So you've got some good shortcuts between the areas. You've got some cool merchants between the areas. Got two boss fights, both are shit, so can't have everything. For the Perish, I'm flying between C and B, probably going to C again. C is probably going to be like where most of the areas are going, especially areas like, say, Huntsman's Corpse or just nothing areas really. Now, Perish, I'm going to say it's a good stepping stone area from the Berg, because you have to deal with the Hellkite. First you got to deal with the Hellkite, which is a good mini boss, I'd say. Obviously you get Solaire. You have to deal with other boss you got to deal with the Boulder Knights. You've got the first few mini bosses of the game, first 3 actually, and then you have the Titanite Demon, Andre. There's a lot to like about the Perish. I just don't think it has like the good stay power of other areas, I think, which you'll see later. Darkroot Basin. I'm gonna put Darkroot at D. Actually, I might put a G tier. Actually, let's put a G tier right below this. You can tell this is unscripted because I'm just looking at some of these areas and thinking, yeah, some of these aren't actually going to be a little bit harder to rank than others, and some of these, are bad areas. Actually, I might move Darkroot to E with the introduction of G, because there's not really much to it. There's the Hydra, Crystal Enemies, and the Black Knight, and of course the DLC. But really, not much to it. It's kind of like, it's a nothing area, really. Nothing offensive about Darkroot, but nothing good about it. The depths. I really don't like the depths at all. It's full of basilisks, rats, and just annoying enemies. It's awful area. The boss is fine, but I rarely fight it because I always master key my way into Blighttown, so it's not really that good. Really, there's just, you master key your way into Blighttown, or you just go through or if you're an idiot and you don't pick the master key, what's wrong with you if you don't do that? Then you go into what's it called? You go through Valley of Drakes to get back into Blighttown through the back door, which is much easier to get into than. Oh, this sounds so weird. But yeah, I generally do not like the depths at all. I think, well, I'm mixed on it, because after the first bonfire, like, getting to the first bonfire is okay. The dogs are annoying, but I think it's an okay, and you of course get the Pyromancer, but once you get past that slime corridor, it's awful. Like, you've got rats hiding in crates. You've got the you literally take a wrong turn and you're going straight into a basilisk pit. You got that giant rat, and I don't like it that much. And it's one of my least favourite areas. Oh boy. Blighttown. Everyone's favourite area. Not. Nah, I'm just joking. It's one of my favourite areas in the game. I love this area so much. I genuinely love Blighttown. I remember everyone was telling me, you're going to hate Blighttown. You are going to hate Blighttown. You are going to hate Blighttown. And you know what? I fucking loved it. I genuinely love Blighttown. I'm not even exaggerating. This is an amazing. It's well designed. It's a well designed area, and I get why people hate it. I do get why people hate it. Don't get me wrong. There are some annoying areas, and there are some annoying enemies. The mosquitoes and the poison dart bastards. But I'd say those are the only 2 real blemishes to Blighttown. Other than that, you've got you've got good loot. You've got some really, really interesting options, and let's just face it, there's a really good Pyromancer in the middle of the swamp, if you do the quest line, obviously, and it leads to, well, and it had a really good boss. I think Quailag's a really good boss. Obviously, of course, we've got Quailag's domain here, which I would put as part of Blighttown, but I'm going to put this on A. Mostly because the Quailag. Actually, do I want to put it on A? Do I want to put it on B? I put it on B because really most of the good stuff just comes from Blighttown, I'd say. So, okay placement for it, I guess. Valley of Drakes. I'm gonna put Valley on E again. Same reason problem I have with Darkroot. Nothing to it. I generally have never. I don't think I've ever explored it fully. It's one of the few areas in the game I genuinely have never explored fully. Like I'm pretty sure all I do is, I've killed the ancient dragon, or killed the undead dragon, and that's it. Not even that hard of a fight. But yeah, very, very poor area. It's more of a filler area, just, it's there. It's there, that's it. Sen's Fortress. I'm going to put Sen's Fortress on S. There's a lot of great areas in Dark Souls. But Sen's Fortress, very, very strong area. I would say this Blight, just generally so many great areas back to back from each other. You get Blighttown, Sen's Fortress, and the next one down Rondo, which I'm not even going to say anything about it. It's going straight to S+. I love these three areas, but literally you just get hit by these three areas back to back to back, and that's amazing. It's one of the best parts of the game, I'd say. After you've rung the bells, you've got Blighttown, which is one of my favourite areas. You've got Sen's Fortress, which is another fantastic area, and then you've got Anor Londo, which is, in my opinion, the best area in the game, and I would say top 2 in the series. I would say Anor Londo is my second favourite area in the series, I would say. I love Dark Souls 1 Anor Londo. Everything about it is amazing. You've got the sentinels, of course, you can avoid them if you don't. You can run through the area quite quickly if you know where to go, and obviously, of course, there's the shortcut. And there's so many great moments, and also it's challenging. The boss fight, of course, being Slam and Jam, obviously, fantastic fight. I'm probably only going to put 5 things on S+, so Anor Londo is going to be one of them. So I'm trying to think what else I'm going to put on S+. I've got 2 more which I know, but I'm kind of hovering between 2 more areas, ironically. I'm not going to say which areas, but yeah. I love Anor Londo, great area. It's a shame this is the last great area of Dark Souls 1. Like, after this, the quality just dipped off a cliff. And no places, or other than the DLC, and no places that's shown better than this, the Painted World of Ariamus. The Painted World of Hairy Anus, more like. I hate this area with a burning passion. Honestly, this area, fuck it. It is so bad. Like, the enemies that toxic you are bullshit. Now, I know you're supposed to go in with a fire weapon, right? Do you know what's even stupid? I went in with a Chaos Zweihander +5 when I first went into Painted World of Ariamus. And the fuckers were still toxicking me on kills. And I'm like, what the fuck? I'm killing you with the weapon you're supposed to kill them with, and I'm still getting toxic. It's appalling. I hate this area. The well. Fuck the well. Thank God this area is optional. I've never wanted to go. I've never ever gone to this area post. I've literally never gone to the area again since my first ever playthrough. Never. Never again. I hate this area so much. Whoever's idea it was to put bone wheel skeletons in a fucking well, in that tight, narrow, dark, literally, honestly, I generally say it is one of the worst experiences in the game. It is one of the few areas in the game I would say is more painful than fun. Like, I've taken a lot of punishment in these games. I fucking like Blighttown, for God's sake. But nothing compares to that well. it is generally the worst area. I think it's the worst section of any Dark Souls game. And I would genuinely put most other sections in the game over that well. I will put the fucking jailer room from Iroquois Dungeon over that well. I will put the Shaded Woods part of the Shaded Woods over that, without the eye, over that well. I will put the going in through the gutter without a torch over that well. It is just awful. I think there's only one thing I've actually tell a lie. There's one thing worse. Rubbish area, deserving of the G tier. I hate this area so much. The Filing Altar, D. Not much to it. Actually, E, because again, I'd say Valley of Drakes and Darkroot have more to it than Filing Altar. Really, all it is you open the Golden Fog gates that lead to lead you through Tomb of the Giant, Lost Izalith, and Duke's Archives, and that's it. Nothing else to it. Darkroot. I'm going to put Darkroot at C. This is more of a PvP hotspot, so having Darkroot at C. I'm not a PvP player, as you can tell by watching my series on Dark Souls 3. I play on offline mode, for fuck's sake. But really, there's not really much to it. Cool area, really good boss, but I'm not really the person. Like, obviously, if I was a PvPer, I can see the value of this area, but I don't really like it from a PvE perspective. New Londo Ruins. I'm going to put that an F. I never really have a problem with New Londo. Actually, I'm going to put that an E. New Londo is the tale of two extremes. I hate the first part with the ghosts, but I love the second part with the Dark Wraiths. It's literally two extremes. I think the problem is just the ghosts. They really do water down the experience. And the Dark Wraith section has its problems. It's pitch black, and also the slimes are quite annoying. So I'm going to put that an E. The Abyss. Now this is the boss arena for the Four Kings. I was trying to think then what the boss was. It was the Four Kings. The Abyss, I think, is a good area, but and the Four Kings is an okay fight. So I'm going to put that on D. Again, nothing really to it, but it's got a good boss fight, and if you don't have that ring, of course, you will sink through the floor, so that's fun. Catacombs, oh boy. I don't know where to put Catacombs. I'm probably going to put it in either E or F. It's either E or F. Just put it on F. Put it with the depths. The depths of hell. Fuck that. It's, generally nothing. Not really much redeeming about this area. You just literally drop down, hope the bone wheels don't bone you, and not really much to it, actually. Suppose. There's some okay loot here. Obviously patches and his lovely trap, and of course you got Vartos with the toast, with the mic of toast, but yeah. I'm going to have to put it here. F tier at best. Tomb of the Giants should be deleted. I despise Tomb of the Giants. Like, I know I was ranting about Painted World having the worst area, like the worst section. I'll say there was actually parts of the Painted World which were enjoyable. The Phalanx part was fine, the Crows were alright enemies, and apart from the shit poison mechanic, no, it wasn't even poison, it's toxic. Apart from the shit toxic mechanic, it's okay. Tomb of the Giants, and I will say Priscilla is an okay fight. Tomb of the Giants is generally something it's an area with no redeeming qualities. Like, Painted World has redeeming qualities. Tomb of the Giant, no. Pitch black, unless you do Lost Isles first, you're not going to see shit on your first playthrough. It's awful. Just why? And I know people who, like, I generally would say if anyone says otherwise, like says, oh, Blighttown's worse, Tomb of the Giants generally should be deleted. Like, I know why people complain about Blighttown because of the FPS, but why do people not say Tomb of the Giants is the worst area in Dark Souls? Like, I remember when what's his name? When DMod made his video on the areas, the community ranked video, and like a third of people put Blighttown as the worst area, and like not many people put Tomb of the Giants as the worst area. It's awful. I think they actually put Lost Islip over Tomb of the Giants, and I just think, why? I know Lost Islip is terrible, don't get me wrong, that's going to be straight on G with Demon Ruins, don't get me wrong, but I don't get why people give Tomb of the Giants more of a pass than Lost Islip and Blighttown. At least Blighttown works as an area, and Lost Islip, yeah, it's shit. Everyone knows it's shit. But yeah, Tomb of the Giants should be deleted. Yeetus deletus out of the savers. Demon Ruins. G tier. Reskin gangs, as far as I can see, and 3 shit boss fights. With one of them being a fucking reskin of a reskin. Like, seriously, what the fuck? It's quite fitting that the only good boss in the area is Ceaseless Discharge. And Ceaseless Discharge is a boss you literally just run to the fucking Fog Gate and then he will drop his, and then you hit his arm a couple times and he drops to his death. And that's such an easy fight. You also have to fight those like Taurus demons, Capra demons, and a lot more. And it's just like, why? There's those worm things which aren't that good. Which aren't those, you know, they're not the best enemies, but yeah. Lost Islip as well is going straight onto G. Terrible area. I'd say it has more redeeming qualities than the Demon Ruins, but it has the worst boss in the series. It has many problems with it, and it's just awful. The lava part is just straight up bad with the dragon asses, and you just got a lot of just awful parts about the area. Not a good area, let's just say that. Duke's Archive. I'm going to put Duke's Archive at E. Nothing wrong with it. I just find it boring. The puzzles are a bit obtuse, obviously, are a bit annoying at times. And the enemy's damage is disgusting, but other than that, it's just fine, I guess. Like, I've got nothing wrong with this area, it's fine. Compared to the other, you know, areas, it's just fine. Same with Crystal Caves, it's just fine. There's some cool loot in the Crystal Caves, which I appreciate, but the areas are just, it's just fine, I guess. Great Hollow. Ugh. The problem with this, basilisks. Why? Like, I genuinely hate basilisks, and one thing I actually think Dark Souls 2 did well was they generally did not have many basilisks in the game. I think there was like, in Scholar there's a few things betwixt in the area with the Estus Shard. You've got one in that ambushes you right at the beginning of what was it? It was Shaded Woods. You had the giant basilisks, and of course you had the headless ones as well, but they're like in really hard to reach areas. Other than that, I think there was this Shaded Woods, and that was it really. And Brightstone Cove had them as well, and I think Shrine of Amana as well. Tell a lie actually. They had a lot of basilisks. It was just not as annoying as Dark Souls 1 and 3 basilisks. Dark Souls 1 and 3 it just had them in annoying areas. Looking at you, 3 areas. Yeah, Basilisk and Great Hollow, just awful area and just not nice. Ash Lake. I'm gonna put that Ash Lake in A. It looks amazing, but there's nothing to it. A Hydra, a few clams, and a few basilisks, and that's about it. It has a Dragon Covenant, which is fine, but and of course the quest line, the Sigvold quest line finishes here, so it's okay. DLC areas, Sanctuary Garden, E again, not really much to it. Same as this. Sanctuary, I'm going to put a D because this is again boss fight, and this is kind of just more. Oh, there's a mushroom with some items. Royal Woods. I'm putting Royal Woods at D, which is hilarious. Not D, B, which is hilarious because it's literally just Darkroot Garden but lightened. I genuinely like the Royal Woods better than Darkroot because I think there's just better enemy, better atmosphere, and also you have both Artorias and Calamite in this area. What more could you want? Like, the Artorias boss fight is legendary, and the Calamite boss fight is amazing as well. So, you've got some really great bosses in this area. For Aldersil Township, I'm going to put this on C. Same reason for Darkroot. I don't really get the appeal. Like, I get the appeal, but I don't really buy into the appeal. Like, I'm not a PvPer. Obviously, if I was, I would probably have it a lot higher. But yeah, I don't get the appeal of Aldersil Township. Like, it's a PvP area, yes, I know. But that's it. For the Chasm, I'm going to put the Chasm at B. Another great area, really cool humanity farm. Really good humanity farm, which is, I'd say, the best part. Interesting level design as well. It's quite dark, which is a problem. But you also get a really good boss at the end with Manus. So, really good DLC areas, actually. And for the Kiln, I'm going to put it at S. I really love the Dark Souls 1 Kiln. Just walking down those stairs. You see, I generally, when I first walked down those stairs, when I first saw the first knight, I generally swang at it, believing that it was going to be an enemy. But it wasn't. I love the Kiln. It's a fantastic area. But, yeah, only only S. And now we move on to Dark Souls 2. There's a lot of them, so pack it in, boys. Things Betwixt. I'm going to put Things Betwixt at E. Nothing wrong with it. Some interesting tidbits hidden here and there, like the ogre, the coffin, which has 2 ogres, and the pursuer, and the flask shard, and the crow. But compared to the Northern Undead Asylum and the Cemetery of Ash, not a good starting area. Majula, 100%. My favourite area in the series. I love Majula. You've got so much in this. It's, again, it's like Firelink, a home, but the problem is, the thing with why I prefer Majula to Firelink, it feels like a home. With Firelink, it's more of a, it's a pit stop, oh, we're going to stay here. But with Majula, it's home. You see, you feel it feels lived in. And I would say Dark Souls 2, it's not the best. But Dark Souls, but I'd say Majula was definitely the best area in the series. I love it so much. And the music. I would say it's the best area theme out of all of them. For the Forest of Fallen Giants, I'm going to put this one at A. Now, the forest, I generally like the forest. I think it's more because it was the first area I did in the game. But I just love it. And you've got the ogre at the beginning tempting you. You've got that the first bonfire is sort of hidden, but it's not at the same time. Like, I generally missed it on my first playthrough. You've got some really cool enemies that scale up in difficulty, similar to the Berg, but I think it does the Berg better. You've got shortcuts that are fun to experience, some tough enemies really early on, and just a lot going with it. And you also have you've got the Pursuer, which you can fight in a good, in the even the flat surface arena, or you can fight him on the with the ballistas. And the Last Giant, I know I generally do not mind the Last Giant. It's a really cool introduction boss, and come on, it's a freaking giant. Everyone remembers their first Dark Souls, boss, and mine was the Last Giant. So, Heights Tower of Flame. I'm gonna put Heights as well at A. Really cool introduction area. It looks amazing, and I think Scholar really improved this area. You've got the Hide Knights, which are awesome to fight. The Old Knights, which they're fine, I guess. You also have the Dragon Rider, which is a okay boss. But the dragon is really cool. I really love that they added the dragon in on Scholar, which I think is one of the better additions with Scholar. I'd say Cathedral of Blue, probably going to put that on to E. It's really just only if you're into, of course, the Cathedral, obviously the Blue Sense, you can obviously see this being much higher, but I don't use the Blue Sense, and even if I did, I wouldn't use them. Even if I was a PvP, I'd probably go for the Purgatory instead. But it had a decent boss fight, so I'm going to put it here because it's actually got an okay boss fight with the old Dragon Slayer. No Light Source. I'm going to put No Light Source at F. I generally do not like this area. I've never liked it. I thought this was one of the worst areas in the game when I first played it, and still do. If you go here with the torch, it's fine with the torch, I guess, but man, it's pain. This area is painful. I just realised Iron Passage is at a Brune Tower. God damn it. Anyways, it's just a painful area, and I hate it. And also, since we're putting Lost Bastille. Ooh, I'm going to put Lost Bastille at C. Nothing wrong with the Lost Bastille, but it's just there. It's an okay area. Like, it's not to perish. There's better areas before it, better areas after it. Belfry Luna. Now, I don't really like the Belfry areas, so I'm going to put that an F. I hate the Belfry areas because I spent so long in Belfry Soul literally farming for a hidden weapon. I don't like this area as much. The boss fight is rubbish. I hate those bloody dwarfs. And it's just, no. PvP area, but a bad PvP area. Sinner's Rise. I'm going to put Sinner's Rise at B. I think this one's a really interesting area. You've got, trying to get the torch through that lake. We've been hounded out by Flexile sentries and bombers. Is really cool. You've got some really interesting enemies, and it's got that really good, and it's got the really good boss fight at the end. I think it's an actual underrated area, Sinner's Rise. Huntsman's Corpse. I'm going to put that one here. I generally like this area. I know people say the ganky is fuck, but really, it's not. Like, the only way you make it ganky is basically what I take from it, because the enemies have so many clear tells. The path to Executioner's Chariot, like, people complain about the path to Executioner's Chariot being long and ganky, but I'm like, you make it ganky by not taking your time. The moths are literally there to prioritize you to take your time. Also, this was the first time I ever got invaded by the Forlorn. So, interesting. Undead Purgatory, same. I'm actually going to put that an E because I really do not like the Executioner's Chariot. But, same reason as Cathedral of Blue, only with a worse boss. Harvest Valley. I don't have much to say about Harvest Valley. I literally just hit the bonfire, get through the Desert Sorcerer area, hit the second bonfire, and then just go all the way to the to fight Covetous Demon in Earthly Peaks. I generally just have more of an opinion on Earthly Peaks actually, which is it's shit. I hate Earthly Peaks, and I remember when I first played, when I was trying to get into Dark Souls 3, I was on a Discord server. It was the Dark Souls 2 official Discord server, and I heard this was when Ring City was coming. I think it had just been out for like a month or something, and I was talking to a guy, and they were like, "Oh, by the way," because I was complaining about Earthly Peaks, and someone was like, "Oh, you know they remade it in Dark Souls 3." I'm like, "You're fucking joking." I generally do not like Earthly Peaks. The mannequin are so annoying. They're spam attacky, they're quick, and you've got precarious ledges. They fire poison arrows, which in Dark Souls 2, poison's dangerous. Like poison is about as dangerous as toxic is more dangerous than toxic in my opinion in all the other games. Toxic, if you get toxic in this game, it's basically you're dead. But yeah, Earthly Peaks. I hate this area so much. Iron Keep. I'm S. Yeah, I'm gonna put it on S. I love the Iron Keep. This was the first area in the game, other than Majula, that really said, this is a great game. I think if it hadn't been for the Iron Keep, I never would have gotten into Dark Souls. Proper, like, I loved the Iron Keep so much. I loved fighting the Smelter Demon. Didn't like fighting the Old Iron King, but I loved fighting the Alon Knights. The Alon Knights, the Smelter Demon, you name it. Fantastic area. I would say it's just out of S plus range. Belfry Soul, same reason as Belfry Luna, only doesn't have a shit boss at the end. Grave of Saints. I'm putting Grave of Saints here. Nothing wrong with Grave of Saints. It's just meh. Like, there's nothing real about the Grave of Saints. It's literally just you fight a bunch of rats, you have a shit rat boss, and then you have the Rat King at the end. Not much to it. It's okay. The Gutter. Now, I think the Gutter's at D. Again, it's not as bad as people make it out. Okay, people make it out that it's the worst area. It's one of the worst areas in the game, but it's actually it's actually an okay area. Like, I would say compared to some of these other areas in the game, No Man's Wharf, Earthly Peaks, and the area that follows it, Black Gulch, it's not that bad. Guys, it's generally not that bad. Like, yes, I know it's dark, but there's enough light sources to go around, and if being honest, it's actually one of the best. There's a lot of secrets around the area. Like there's the hidden mimic. There's there's the Estus Flask Shard. There's that hidden invader. There's a lot to like about this area. Black Gulch, though, there's not much to like about it. You run straight to the Rotten. You hit the bonfire, run straight to the Rotten. For some reason, there's a second bonfire, but I don't get why they packed so much shit into this area. Like, you've got the Giant Souls, you've got the Dark Diver. It's just a lot of just why in one area. I don't like the Black Gulch at all. And if we're being honest, it's just a bad area. Shaded Woods. I think this is kind of split between... You've got the first part, which is fine. It's pretty ganky. It's just ganky with those testicle things. I don't even know what the hell they are. Like, they generally have. I generally thought they were I generally thought. Apparently it's their stomachs, but I thought they was their testicles, and I thought, what the fuck is this? Then you have the Najask part. Najask's a fine fight. The whole shaded wood section I do not like at all. I generally just try them on, like, you try them on through it, and it's just awful. And then you have like the Shrine of Winter fight part, which is okay, I guess. Doors of Pharos, I'm gonna put that on E. Interesting concept, shit boss fight. I do love that if you're a member of the Rat King, which of course you can get quite early with the Grave of Saints, the enemies won't attack you other than like the enemies leading to Brightstone Cove, which is hilarious. Again, you've got a lot of Pharos compartments here, which some of them like lead to like the Sanctum Spear. There's one that cuts off a shortcut that leads to the bonfire, which is shit. And there's a few cool items in this, but shit boss as well. It's kind of more of a that it's there. Let's just say that. Brightstone Cove. I'm gonna say C because you've got okay fights. It's okay. You've got the Freyda boss, which is cool, I guess. You have the really, really bad. Like, it's just like so confusing because you have that military camp. You're like, oh, it's gonna be even that. And then you get the spider there. You get the Freyda, of course, jump scare if you play the game in New Game Plus, which I think was amazing the first time around. And then you get some really cool, like, there's some quite cool enemy designs in this area. The level design is interesting, but I can understand why people don't like it so much. It's quite confusing. If you fall in certain areas, you have to Homeward Bone or Age Feather out, so yeah. Homeward is a very good spell to have if you don't have the Homeward Bones or you don't have the Aged Feather already. So Shrine of Winter. I'm gonna put the Shrine of Winter at D. It's interesting because it leads, of course, to the DLC 3. I think it is. Yes, DLC 3, Ivory King. It's interesting actually. Really interesting area. You've got Ghost, but it's mostly leading to Dranlake Castle, so which is here. And you know, if you've played Dark Souls, you know where Dranlake Castle's going. It's so good. It's not Anor Londo great, but it's damn close. I would say, other than Majula and a few other areas, it's one of the best. It's one of the best areas of Dark Souls. So really cool. Like the statue mechanics really cool, and of course you've got those rooms which have the sentinels, which I think was kind of interesting. The golems, obviously, the golem mechanic was really, really cool. It's one of my favourite mechanics, and yeah, just a lot to love about Dranlake Castle. And then it's followed by Shrine of Amana, which is immediately going in G tier. Like, it's generally Shrine of Amana. Man, that was such a bad area. It's like you follow amazing with shit. I know that it's part of the course, like with Anor Londo being followed by the Painted World, but with the Painted World, you know, or Anor Londo being followed pretty much by everything post Anor Londo, but with Shrine of Amana, it's just like never ending. I generally was like, when does this end? And then I hit Demon of Song, and I'm like, okay, finally I'm at the boss. It's a pretty rubbish fight. It's a pretty rubbish area. Not a good fight. A lot of loot as well. Really good loot. like, there's really good loot in this area, which is so frustrating. You've got one of the crowns, you've got the iron, what was it, the red iron twin blade, really good weapon. Really, really good weapon, but there's an Esther shard, but you just kind of suffer to go through all of it. Undead Crypt. D. Interesting concept, but I just don't like the area much. I didn't like the bells. I did not like the ghosts that appear. If you hold a torch in the wrong area, you get ganked by the NPC. But the bosses were okay, I guess. The bosses were fine. Aldia's Keep. I'm going to put that in D as well. It's more of a corridor. Which is a shame because there's some really cool items in Aldia's Keep. Like this Soul Geyser, which... But the problem is, again, there's just not much to it. You've got like the giant, you've got all the monsters, you've got the hallway, of course, with all the monsters. The dragon, where you light all the fires and get invaded by a forlorn. There's the quest line, I can't remember who it was, but if you pull that lever. Anyways, really cool fight, really cool area, but anyways, Dragon Area. Now, the Dragon Area I'm putting at A. Really beautiful area, and of course you have the you fight a few dragons, you have those acid twats, and you had that bridge which always makes you nervous. Now, if you don't know, if you break too many eggs, if you break too many dragon eggs before crossing the bridge, you will get attacked by a you have a timer and you'll get attacked by a dragon. Or if you break way too many eggs, you won't be able to cross into the next area. The dragon will kill you. It's so nerve-wracking crossing that bridge because you have no idea how many, unless you've counted how many eggs have been smashed. So it's fine. Love the aesthetics though, with all the dragons flying around. Dragon Shrine, I'm putting it at B. Fine area, shit boss, really cool loot. You've got the really powerful you've got this game's version of the Fat Ring right near the end, but not as good as the Fat Ring. And yeah, just a fine area. It's it's good, but not, Dragon Area was so much better. Okay, memories. Now, the King memory, I generally like. The Dragon memory, I'm going to put that at 8. It looks insane. If you've not seen the Dragon memory, you have to go to where Frida died in Brightstone Cove. After you beat Freda, and then you got to touch the orb where you get the Great Soul from, when you have the Ashen Maya heart. You get the ancient dragon soul, and it looks so cool. Like, it's generally just one of the most stunning areas of the game. I love it so much. It's such a cool looking area, but it's not much to it, so it's only at A. For these memories, F. Not much to them. You get ganked. Enemies are annoying. Giants, I don't like fighting giants in this game. So let's start with the Dark Chasm. There's not much to it. The giant is just a reskin, but you get some cool good look. You get some loot from it. And some good soul farming. Dark Chasm of Old. I'm going to put that at C. Amazing fight with the Dark Lurker right at the end, but yeah, not as good. Like, you've got that random fuck you drop right at the beginning of because if you don't know, you have 3 locations you have to go through. They're basically 3 separate dungeons. And they're in 3 separate areas. One is in the Black Gulch, one is in Dragonite Castle, and one is in Shaded Woods. I would say leave the Dragonite Castle, the Shaded Woods ones until last because they're right next to bonfires. Well, obviously they're all close to bonfires. It's Dark Souls 2. There's not really much bonfire. There's a lot of bonfires in Dark Souls 2. Not as much as Dark Souls 3 though. So yeah, but I'll rant about that soon. But yeah, Dark Chasm of Old, brilliant boss, but not good area-wise. You just get ganked by NPCs, and that's about it. It's not fun. King's Passage and Throne of One, I'm going to put both at E. It's really just 3 boss fights back to back. Really good, really interesting boss fights. You've got the Bone Watcher and Defender, which there's nothing to break up their aggro, which is annoying. So Nishandra is an okay fight. And Ulgi is an okay fight, but man, compared to the other areas, compared to other final bosses in the other final bosses in the series, actually, I'm gonna put this at D. Actually, to be honest, yeah, because the areas do look pretty, and the boss fight is great. Shulver, brilliant architecture, amazing architecture in Shulver. No one will get that joke. One person will get that joke. Actually, I don't know if he watches my channel. Dragon Sanctum as well. Brilliant. I'd say they're both great areas. They're basically Shulver A, Shulver B, Shulver C. Dragon West, I'll put that as well. Shulver A, Shulver B, Shulver C. You should have just combined the whole place, all of them together. Like, I know it says, like, Shulver Sanctum City, Dragon Sanctum, Dragon's Rest, but they're all pretty cool areas. The only complaint is, what's her name? Not Nadia, that's DLC 2. Alada, the Squalid Queen. Fuck that fight. Oh, it's so shit. Like, I hate that fight so much, and like, whose not so bright idea was it to have Velstadt be summonable for that fight? But other than that, great fight. Really cool enemies. Love the enemies of Shulver. I generally love the Shulver Knights. The ghosts are really awesome. As you have to find all their corpses. And you have the Imperfect are quite interesting, and trying to literally sneaking through their lair is so terrifying. And you've got and then as you progress later, you encounter the Drake Blood Knights. I just think it's a really good area. And then you get Cave of the Dead, G tier immediate. Now, if you don't know, in all of the Dark Souls 2 DLCs, they added in these optional co-op areas, and I use co-op areas with the air quotes because what they did was they stuck these areas full of just ganks and just so many enemies and traps, and it was so stupid. Cave of the Dead, all you do is you drop into a hole, turn left, go down this small passage, drop down another hole, into a corridor full of shit. With like, what? It's literally just, you're basically back in the Black Gulch, only petrification statues over poison. It's awful. The boss is just, you fight Havel, Arva, and someone else, right? So if you didn't see you fight Havel from every game has a Havel. Arva was basically that one invader right before if you saw my series, right before I got to Irithyll Dungeon. I think it was on the area where Fun dies video. And there was also a Grave Tender there's also the Grave Tender who basically just fires arrows. And really, the thing you gotta do is you have to make sure Havel drops into, like, you get rid of, you have to kill the guy with the bow first, because he's annoying. and then you have to try and get your windows in between the games journalist and what it's basically like fighting a games journalist really. If you don't have the Havel monster in the night while he sticks at the back, it's literally just that. Anyways, enough talking about shit. Let's talk about an amazing area with Brune Tower. S tier. Love Brune Tower. Love the puzzles. I love the Ash idols. The only real complaint I have is those Iron Warriors, the ones that spray lava out. I really hate fighting them. I do love fighting those knights which have the great bow and the spear because I just think they look so awesome. You know, I don't like fighting the great bow is a bit annoying, but when you just having them glide around slamming the ground is awesome, I think. Like, I generally like Brune Tower, and it has a really great boss at the end. Iron Passage. To quote Dmod, I would rather ask Blaster Smelt a Demon out of my own Iron Passage than deal with this area again. It's an area I generally I avoid like the plague. I think I've done it, same with Cave of the Dead, I've done it once, and I will never do it again. I've done these both once for the experience, and I'll never do them again. I hate these areas with a passion. And yeah, I would generally say these are just lazy. You had to go through a gauntlet, and you first go through that iframe gauntlet, which has like the flame salamander, and you have all those enemies trying to trip you up. And if you go through it, you get a small shortcut. But then it's just you go through tunnel after tunnel with shit, and then eventually you get to the blue smelter demon, which is fine, I guess. It's a smelter demon, but he uses magic damage. Anyways, let's talk about the memories of the Old Iron King. This one's actually a little bit better because the boss. Honestly, Solon being at the end and the Alon Knights being the main enemy carry this area. If it was shit enemies, because the Alon Knights are awesome enemies. If it was shit enemies and it's still ganky as fuck, Flame Salamanders are still annoying, but it's a lot less shit than it is in, say, Cave of the Dead and the Iron Passage. I would say it's only saved by Alon. If Alon wasn't at the end of this, it would definitely be in G. Maybe F. It'd probably be an F, actually. Elam Lois. I am going to hell for this. Fuck Elam Lois. It looks incredible. Don't get me wrong. The enemies, though, are not fun to fight. You have, I think the retainers are okay. What else? And the reskinned and the knights are fine, but other than that, what other enemies in Elam Lois are fun to fight? You've got hedgehogs, which are probably the worst enemies in this, which are worse than bone wheels, might I add. You have, I think that's it, really. You have those witches, which are annoying. You have Malcolm, I didn't even mention Malcolm in Brune Tower. That's how great the area was. I didn't even mention this has the worst invader in the series. This also has the worst invader in the series. He invades you here as well, and he's even more annoying. Oh, I hate Malcolm, the assassin. What a cunt invader. I generally ignore him. I literally trigger his run away, pull the lever, go back to the bonfire. Don't have to deal with him anymore. But yeah, trying to find all the Elam Lois Knights is so irritating. Because, I mean, two of them are in obvious locations, but one's right by, they're all by invaders, ironically. You'll get invaded in all three. Like, one uses Chameleon, one tries to lure you into a rat path golem, and the other one's Malcolm the Assassin. It's literally pick your poison. Do you get backstabbed, ganked, or backstabbed and ganked? Yeah. Grand Cathedral and Old Chaos, both boss arenas. I'm going to put them both in A because Grand Cathedral is just an awesome looking area, and Alanio is a really cool NPC, and let's just say it's got my third favourite fight in the series, so and it looks amazing. There's not much substance to it. And the final area should be deleted because fuck the Frigid Outskirts. It's the only area in the series I have never ever finished. Actually, other than Valley of Drakes. But Valley of Drakes doesn't count. Nothing's there. Like, Frigid Outskirts has a few interesting items in it. I'm not going to get those items ever. I hate this area. Like, you saw how much hate I had for the Painted World. You saw how much hate I had for Tomb of the Giants, probably, Lost Island. All of these areas. This is the worst area I have. This is the worst level in any video game. Honestly, when people say, oh, this is the worst level in a video game, this is the worst level in a video game, I always say, is it as bad as the Frigid Outskirts from Dark Souls 2? If not, it's not the worst level in any video game. Fuck the Frigid Outskirts. Do you have Christmas rammed down your throat from those fucking reindeer? Can you actually see where you're going? For 90% of the area. Does it have a boss that's a reskin ×2? Do you have any reason to actually play the area? Honestly, never again am I going in this area. I generally have the boss is awful. I generally do not like fighting. I don't like fighting over, for fuck's sake. Fighting two of them at the same time is my form of hell. Ugh, and we still got Dark Souls 3 areas to go. Oh god. This is going to be a long video. Cemetery of Ash. I'm going to put this in C. Nothing wrong with it, but yeah, Gundy is a really good fight. Really cool secrets. I like the Cemetery of Ash. It's not bad. Firelink. B. It's not as good as Dark Souls 1 Firelink or Majula, but man, it generally cannot be as good as those areas. The bar was put too high. The bar was put way too high, I think, when it came to making Firelink. Where's Hyrule? Hyrule. I think Hyrule probably goes to C. It's an okay starting area, but I'm calming down now because I don't have anything bad to say about these areas. But yeah, it's okay. And now, oh boy, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Literally 5 in a row with Cathedral of the Deep splitting it up. E. Not that good. Like, it's good interconnectivity though. I would say Undead Salmon has good interconnectivity. Same with Cathedral of the Deep, actually. I do love that half of these are just some of the thumbnails I've been using for my videos. Well, let's see. I use that in my videos. I use that one in my videos. I use that one. I use that one. Probably use this one. Probably am going to use Anno Longo because at this point I haven't actually uploaded the video. I've got it recorded. So, yeah. I'm probably going to use this one. Same with the Consume King Garden. Got to these 3 areas already. So, as of this video, I've actually recorded getting up to Archdragon Peak, Grand Archives, and Untended Grave. So I've done Consume King Gardens and Lothric Castle. Don't know if I've uploaded them yet by the time I upload this video. So let's go on with Road of Sacrifices. Nothing here. Aldrich took it. Honestly, I'm pretty sure D-Mod said it right. Aldrich took a shit here going to the Cathedral. Nothing here. It's a connector to... It's the same Valley of Drakes connecting area. Or Darkroot Basin, or... I don't know, or Harvest Valley. It's connected to something else. And those are both found and keeping the Cathedral. I'm going to put the Cathedral at D because, let's face it, nothing wrong with the Cathedral. It's okay, I guess. I think this is what the D tier is, the okay areas. Although most of these are just filler areas. Farron, you knew it was coming in F. Farron is actually an area I started to tolerate a lot more. Like when I went into Dark Souls 3, everyone was saying you're going to hate Farron Keep, you're going to hate Farron Keep, you're going to hate Farron Keep. I would say Farron Keep out of all of the F areas, I would say it's more more towards the E, but compared to most F areas, but like something like the depths and the catacombs, not or or maybe the depths and the memories, more approaching E than G, where something like say No Man's Wharf or East Earthly Peaks or the catacombs are more approaching G. Speaking of catacombs of Carthus are definitely going into F. I do not like the catacombs of Carthus at all. Ugh, what a bad area. I would say this one, it's like the double whammy of you hit Farron Keep, then you get the catacombs of Carthus. Oh, not good. I'm just looking through seeing who will I hit double S. Like, Smouldering Lake. I generally am going to put it on should be deleted. I would say Irithel Dungeon is the worst area. But with Irithel Dungeon, I think there's a purpose to the area. Smouldering Lake, no. I wouldn't find the old Demon King for 100% playthrough. It's awful. The Ballistas sucks. And literally all it is Demon Ruins, but they try to one up how shit the Demon Ruins was. And I just do not like the area at all. Awful area. Awful area, and just should be deleted. Irithel. Ooh. S. I was debating between S and S plus for Irithel. I'm gonna put Irithel at S because there are some annoying parts like the dog. Like, ironically, the areas which got deleted by the audio fucking up are just irritating to go through. Just trying to get to Pontiff is kind of irritating, but I love some of the better areas. And I will say it does lead to Anor Londo quite well, and I will say I do love the Archer area. The Archer area is so fun. It gives me good memories of Anor Londo. I love Irithel. I can actually, and Pontiff is a fantastic fight. So you win. Win-win with this area. Anor Londo, unfortunately, it's not as good as it was in Dark Souls 1. Okay, you can see here, if it was the full cathedral, if it was the full cathedral, you could explore the whole cathedral again and see how badly it got ruined. I would love it even more. I would probably put it on S. But you only get the main hall, the Giant's room, and the slightly bits of the outside with where the bat wings were. Other than that, just it's more of an area that you want. Irithel Dungeon is going in G. I hate Irithel Dungeon. I hate the jailers. I hate that fucking giant. I hate basilisks. I hate rats. And I generally do not like this area at all. I think Irithel Dungeon is one of the worst things in the game. I've gone through so much punishment in these games. Like, I've gone through all of these areas other than Frigid Outskirts. Obviously, because I've gone through Frigid Outskirts. I've gone to the boss, but I've never beaten the boss. But Irithel Dungeon was the one that broke me. I literally thought, like, there's a reason why I don't really want to go through Dark Souls 3. I'm hesitant to go through Dark Souls 3 again because it means I have to go through Irithel Dungeon again. I hate the jailers. I hate... Like, I go through Lost... I don't mind Lost Izalith as much. Like, Lost Izalith is bad. Like, some of these areas... The redeeming quality about some of these areas are that they're optional. Iroquois Dungeon though broke me. Same with Tomb of the Giants. I think with Tomb of the Giants is that you legitimately can run through the area. With Iroquois Dungeon, it's a pain to run through the area because of the jailers. And those fuckers will pursue you all the way to the profaned capital. Speaking of which, I'm going to put this one at E. It's got a decent soul farming route. The boss is fun. I like the boss. Sigmund's questline's cool, but man, other than the main area, you have a bunch of awful enemies. And the toxic swamp. Just why? Why is there a toxic swamp? I'm I'm generally getting destroyed from just reading some of these. At least we're on the final 10. No, final 9. Lothric Castle. I'm going to put Lothric Castle at A. Cool area, cool enemies to fight, but man, there's some annoying enemies. There's that bomb room with the bomb with all the explosive barrels, the ganky enemies, and the fuckers. There's like 5. It's like multiple levels. There's 4 guys pelting you with firebombs from all directions, and then you're getting ganked from like 80 different from 80 other hollows. It's kind of frustrating actually. And you also have that pus of man in the room as well. Well, the pus of man dragons. I think the problem with this area is that there's nothing unique. Like, with Dren Lake Castle, yeah, you had the Sven Knights and the Royal Swordsman, but the Sven Knights were mini bosses at this point, getting devoted to main enemies, and there was still a good splattering of original enemies. Whereas here, the only original enemies are the priests, which are just reskins enemies, and everything else was pretty much from Hyrule. It's actually just Hyrule 2.0. You've got Wing Knight, Lothric Knights, and regular hollows. Pusses of man as well, and it's just I don't like. That's the only complaint I have. The enemy variety is poor in Lothric Castle. That's it, and also some of the areas are annoying. And it has Iroquois Outrider Knights. Go figure. Consume King Garden F. Pusses of man are annoying. The Knights are annoying. And then you have Osiris at the end. It's not a hard fight, Osiris, but that thing flies around like a bat trying to get out of a room. And also the Toxic Swamp. And also it's got thralls in the area as well. Go figure. I hate thralls. Undead Graves. I'm going to put this at B. It's just a reskin of Cemetery of Ash. Spoilers. But Gundyr, the champion Gundyr is a much better fight. And the dark... Actually, scratch that. A. I'm liking it even more. I generally like this area. I think it's much better than Cemetery of Ash. I like the Black Knights. I like fighting them. And I just think it's tragic going through the area for the first time. I generally remember the shock of going through the area for the first time. And fighting the Firekeeper's Eyes, the Coiled Sword fragments, and all of that. Really good areas. Cool area. Grand Archives. I'm going to put that one on B. It's got good interconnectivity and some unique enemies, but it's still thralls, headless gargoyles, Corvians, because of course there fucking is. What other enemies are lurking in this? Lothric Knights. The Lothric Knight, and just that whole area of trying to get from the right after the gank squad, you have the when you have just it's like you have to go through an army of hollows and you have and Lothric knights just to get to the princes. It's kind of annoying that part, but I like the design of the area. It's really cool. It kind of reminds me of the Duke's Archives, but just done better. Also, I kind of like the Crystal Sage mini boss in this area. Archdragon Peak. I'm putting this one on B. Great area. Has one of the greatest bosses in the series with the Nameless King. I would say if the Nameless King was just the Nameless King phase and didn't have the King of Storm phase, he would probably be a contender for the best boss in all of video games. He still is, but he would be a top. He would be a top 2 fight. I would say that final phase of the King, the second phase, is flawless. But the area is full of ganky spam attacky enemies who just suck. Anyways, the Kiln. I'm putting the Kiln at S+. I love this version of the Kiln. The Kiln in the original Dark Souls is still great, but I just love going through this area and getting to the Kiln. Watch it, like, there's no Black Knights to distract you from how amazing it looks. The Kiln in Dark Souls 1 is still insane, and I generally would say it has probably a better reveal, but I think this one just looks so much better than the Kiln in Dark Souls 3. In Dark Souls 1, I meant. I would say the Kiln is probably the closest to getting to S+. We still got 3 areas left, and I reckon the Painted World, I'm going to put this in S. I really do like the Painted World of Ariandel. Fantastic fight with Frida, top 5 fight, in my opinion. Phenomenal. Like, the Corvian settlement is such a great area. And the enemies actually are quite unique, for once, in Dark Souls 3. Like, with the exception of maybe the wolves and the crabs, name any of the area, any enemy in the area you fight, other than the crabs, of course, and like I said, can you name a boss? Ooh, not boss. Can you name an enemy that you've fight in another area? I will say though, there are some bad parts. Grave Tender's not that good, but Frida is a fantastic fight, and the Corvian settlement is amazing. I love the Corvian settlement area. That being said, though, it is still a fantastic area. It's still a fantastic area. And the Frida boss as well carries this. I would generally say it's a brilliant area for the DLC. The DLC is great. It's not the best DLC, but it's still better than some of the other Todger. Dregheap. I'm going to put the Dregheap at A. A really good DLC area, actually. Generally, the Dark Souls 3 DLC were really good with their areas. I really like the Angels. Now, I do know why people hate the Angels, but I like them quite a bit. And if we're being honest, there have been worse environmental hazards. The lake's a bit annoying, and again, the Earthly Peaks part is kind of a bit annoying, but it has some cool, some cool areas, some cool NPCs. I love you go through the areas, you recognise the areas, but they're changed, they're all smashed up. And of course, Earthly Peaks. Love the Earthly Peaks bonfire. I generally like the Earthly Peaks part. It's much better than it was in Dark Souls 2, let's just say that. And we got the final area, the Ring City, with 2 legendary bosses and a lot of legendary areas. Apart from the Swamp and Half-Light, can you say an area which can top the Ring City in Dark Souls 3? I'd say this area, Majula and Analondo. Top those areas. I love the Ring City. And I'm genuinely looking forward to doing this part of the playthrough. I can't actually remember the Ring City too much. It's one of the few areas I actually cannot remember the layout for, which is fun. But it's a really cool area. The enemies are pretty cool, other than those cursed enemies. I don't like them that much. The humanity puzzle is so interesting. The giants, they're annoying, but they're dealable. The only problem is Half-Light's not the best, but Mid-Year and Gale make this up. Anyways, that's my list. It's really been long, obviously. So, I hope you guys have enjoyed. I've actually managed to get a game in every category, which is actually, that was generally unintentional, getting a game in every category. I'm generally surprised at how well Dark Souls 2 and 3 did. I was going to expect a lot of Dark Souls 3 down here. Dark Souls 1 as well, really scattered out. I was obviously expecting Dark Souls 1 to be probably EF and of course a lot in G and should be deleted. But yeah, these were really good. And I think that's going to call us here. Generally a lot of great areas in Dark Souls, a lot of shit areas as well. Hope you guys have enjoyed this video. Leave your comments if you agree or disagree. I know some of you will definitely disagree on the placement of some of these areas. And yeah, hope you guys enjoyed the video, and I'll see you guys in the next one.